Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today we're continuing the series talking about commonly asked questions by IELTS candidates. So today's question is about pronunciation, it's specifically about accent. And the question is, will my accent affect my score? Now, the answer to this question is not exactly straightforward, but I will say under normal circumstances, no. The key question in IELTS in terms of evaluating pronunciation, because that's what accent would have an impact on, is can the examiner understand you and with what degree of difficulty can the examiner understand you. So for example, if your accent impacts your pronunciation to the extent where it becomes difficult for the examiner to catch what you're saying or sometimes difficult, then yes, it can have an effect on your score, at least for pronunciation. However, I think that for it just to be an accent-related issue would be something quite unusual. You know, IELTS has the idea that there's no such thing as standard English. You know, often we hear the idea of standard British English, but IELTS doesn't actually accept that. What it has is an idea that English is a world language and there are a variety of different accents which are totally acceptable. So for example, Indian English or Philippines English, you know, or American English, British English, Australian English, they're all equal. So to that extent, as long as what you're saying is intelligible and understandable, your accent is not going to have an impact on your score. It doesn't matter whether you have a Canadian accent or a New Zealand accent or anything like that. What matters is, can the examiner understand you? If whatever kind of accent you have, like let's say for example you have a very strong Japanese accent or a very strong Thai accent, then I think that that could affect your pronunciation simply because it's not one of the native accents of English, and it can cause difficulties for someone to understand you. Like for example, in Thailand you get a lot of people who have the habit of holding the final sounds of words, and when they're making statements, for example, they might say things like same, you know, really holding the word there, holding the sound. And it's a little bit odd, and it's not standard pronunciation in any accepted, you know, accent for English. So therefore that kind of thing would probably have a negative effect on your pronunciation score. But as long as you can be clearly understood and you're speaking in what could be classed as a normal way, no, pronunciation is not going to have an impact. So if you speak, you know, clear English and you're from China, then you'll be absolutely fine. There's no incentive to go out and try to, you know, cultivate an American or a British accent. Although I will say that in the exam, if somebody does come in and they have a very native sounding accent, it does create an instant positive impression of the person. It shouldn't necessarily, to be honest, but I think it's almost inarguable that it does, and it probably would attract a slightly more favourable score if I'm absolutely honest. But it is immensely difficult to do, and the focus for most candidates should simply be on clarity and making sure that their accent doesn't interfere with the examiner's ability to understand them well. Alright, well, I hope people found this video interesting and useful, and I wish you all success in your IELTS examination. I will see you soon in the next video.